So, let's see if I can work my thingy.
Does it work?
Hey, okay, I can work thingies. Hi, I'm Scott Jennings, as he just said. I know a disturbing number of you, so we'll just run right through that part. So, this talk is going to be pretty online game-centric because that's pretty much all I've ever worked on, as you would have known if I gave you enough time to read the last slide. The reason why is also because they're really profitable. They make an incredible amount of money, even today. That's just came out a couple of weeks ago, actually. And there have been some high-profile failures, as some of you very well know, but they're still making a whole lot of money. And a lot of that is because we pivoted and figured out that people are kind of nervous about actually paying for things until you tell them that you don't have to pay for things until you actually do pay for things. And what that usually means in practice is that someone pays like $100 so that it can kill you with a sentient radioactive sword made entirely out of meat. That is a working monetization model. It actually works really well. But when you have the privilege of paying people every month for the privilege of killing other people with intelligent scimitars made out of ham, you no longer have the luxury of just making a great game and handing it to someone and saying, here, I give this, the boon of my efforts to you. Take it, enjoy it. No, instead you have a customer. And a customer has a monthly expectation of things that you deliver in return for their money, or his being so kind as to be killed by the wealthy patron that gives you, the developer, money for his giant sword of meat. And I promise it's the last time I'm talking about a giant sword of meat. One key problem is that online games are a closed loop. After the initial explosion of new and shiny, it's really hard and really expensive to find new customers for the ones you lose. And yes, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose a lot of customers. It happens with every game. Some people won't want to ever give you money just because giving people money on the internet's a bad idea. It's a scary place, and the news reinforces it on a daily basis. And some people just won't like your game very much. You'll hear that a lot, very loudly. So, one game I worked on, the metrics that we had set up determined that some customers actually purchased the game in the store. This was back in the dark ages when you did that. Set up an account to play the game, gave us their credit card number, did everything possible online, installed the game, put it on, actually successfully launched it, got their video card set up, logged in at least once, got to the character creation screen and said, nope, I'm done. There were a significant number of people who actually went through, paid us money, paid for their first month, got to the character creation screen and never played the game again. They never got further, ever. But getting new customers to replace the ones you lose is really, really expensive. So we hire people like the last speaker to get retention. Prevailing wisdom is that's more cost effective to keep your healthy customer base. You don't want to lose people, you want to keep the ones you have for as long as you can. You want to hold on to them. Never let them down. Never going to give you up. But here's the thing. People play online games for a really, really long time. Years. There are people still playing Ultima Online that were there when it launched. They've been playing the same game for 15 years. Someone played the same game as Civilization 2 once, and he posted about it. It turned into, and I quote from him, a hellish nightmare of suffering and devastation, where the polar ice caps have melted more than 20 years due to global warming. Dozens of nuclear wars have rendered much of the world inhabitable. Endless warfare makes it impossible to rebuild. And that was after 10 years. People have been playing UO for 15 years. After you play a game for years, you get tired of it. That's normal. That's expected. You've gotten a lot of return on your investment. You've conquered the commanding heights of the game, which, by the way, the design assures that you do, because the secret of success of online games is that the simple trade of investment of your time for success, tangible reward. But once you get to that point, you're done. And it's hard for some people to admit that they're done after years and years and years. And it's even harder for the developers to admit that they're done. It's okay to let them go. Because when people don't want to admit they're done, they get really, really bitter. They grief other players in the game out of boredom because they've done everything else. They've gone through all your content. You can't make any more because your entire team got laid off in cutbacks 9 months ago. They post angry articles in your message board because they know the game better than the developers do, and they actually do. Lord knows they spent more time in the game. What makes them so bitter is that they want to keep playing. They want that game to last forever. They aren't there for the game, though. They aren't there for the actual gameplay, even though most of the time they won't want to admit it or really know how. They're there for the guild. They're there for the social connections, the raid night, the guild chat, the time where they all met at a bar in Chicago. And did you know Rolf Slaughter and anger management issues got engaged last month after Rolf found out Anger was actually a 20-something young woman that time on voice chat? If you can't keep them playing and happy, you're responsible for a failed marriage. Well, most likely several thousand failed marriages, but still. Remember, people are still playing UO 15 years later, along with other decade-old games. They do it because they still enjoy it. They don't enjoy the game, they enjoy each other. At this point, it's no longer the developer's experience. It's no longer your experience. It's their experience. The simple joy of the friendships they made, the social contact they formed. The fun that comes when you buy a cat $100 worth of toys, and she plays with the box instead. But it's okay if the cat plays with the box. It's okay if players find their own fun. And they really resent it when that fun train leaves the station. Almost always because the guild broke up over the 4 other guys who had a crush on anger management issues, and when that stops, the player's left with the actual game that they got bored with 2 years ago. They're not happy. But they're paying you for that actual game that they don't really want to play anymore because they finished it. At this point, I argue this is where we failed. We don't have a game over screen because why would we? We like money. We don't have an exit strategy for when people are done playing. We don't tell them, okay, guys, we're done. Movie's over. You can go. We've made vague stabs at trying to increase retention beyond the content that we have, mainly through making guilds attractive, and all that does is make it so that guilds are incredibly unattractive because they all are incentivized now to get as many people as possible, and making them useless as the social compacts that were keeping people there to begin with. We don't really understand the whole cats playing with a box thing. We're used to telling stories and making really nifty experiences, and we're not comfortable with saying, you know, we're done. Maybe at this point you're done too. So at this point I would ask, why are you really here? Are you here to make a lot of money? I hate to be the one to tell you, there's a lot easier ways. Or are you here because game development is one of the most unique forms of crafting entertainment that exists today? And because you know that and you want to share that entertainment, that joy, actually use the word, with people. So I came here today to propose a simple heresy for online games, something that you will never hear. We should be comfortable with customers leaving for the right reasons. Not because we messed up a patch and destroyed all their characters. Not because they are just, our games suck and they hated it and they had no fun. But because they enjoyed it and they had fun and they're done and they're ready for the next game. If you believe in what you do and why you do, it's not only destructive to your game's bottom line, but it's simply wrong, morally, to keep them there longer than they want to, than they should be there. And I think that in our industry, we've forgotten that. We've gotten hung up on the metrics. We know how to actually, like the last talk, which we really, put forth the science of how we can measure the fun. But at a certain point, we're missing the point. We want to get back to where we give someone a fun experience. Like, here, this is what I give to you. This is fun. Enjoy it until you're done, and then stop. I just want to plant that small spark tonight with you. My few words. We have to let people go. It's okay to let them go.